I'm here with Shawn Finnegans, and we just finished up a podcast, and I wanted to wrap with you just a little bit about some of the most important things that we covered on the podcast, and also how entrepreneurs out there can, number one, get scrappy, right? Mm-hmm. Something we talked about.
Yep.
Also, understanding how to build trust, and also how to build strong community. So, touch on those three things. I know that's exactly what you do.
I hope you can see this shirt right here. This shirt says Breakfast Palooza right here.
Yeah.
And we actually have some history together because we did Breakfast Palooza together. I think we did the first couple of together at least at our office. And
well, when I met you, I had, we got the family maple brand, and I was like, dude, we've got to get some people doing some things that are a little bit different here in Utah.
Yeah.
But once again, I honor you and respect the fact that you open your space for to help to build the actual brand of the Palooza. So thank you.
Yeah. So I just remember you coming at me with all this energy and excitement. It's like I got this. And by the way, the maple syrup is amazing.
Yes.
It's the best maple syrup out there. There's a bunch of crap, right?
Yeah, it is.
And this is the good stuff. And so I remember you coming to me and I was like, Breakfast Palooza, that is a brilliant idea. Let's do it. And then I didn't know, you never know if it's going to be a bust or not. And some of the, especially that spark you had and the idea. And I remember coming into the breakfast and it was like line out the door, people coming in, and it was an amazing event. So I think the first one, I think we started at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then they stayed. Most people stayed until like noon. So it turned into almost like a breakfast brunch palooza kind of thing because they stayed for hours.
I was like, are you guys going to like leave here?
But I think that's what we talked about today is like the community building.
Yeah.
You came up with this idea. You said, hey, let's do something different. There's no breakfast events out there.
Yeah.
There's lots of lunch and dinners and kind of stuff. And you said, hey, I want to do a breakfast event. And it created a real opportunity for people to engage.
Yeah. Well, and it's one thing that I see from you too. And like I was saying, I wanted to honor you too with the amount of energy and effort, the behind the scenes that it really takes in order to build a community.
Yeah.
And we were talking about your experience with Tax Hive, and then also your experience with losing, $1.5 million in essence of investor money because you may not have outsourced as much as you could have, and created strong relationships to be able to scale your operations. So share with us a little bit about, about that one quick story, but also how how you can scale your company by building strong relationships.
Yeah, so at the time I started a business and I was knee deep in crocodiles, just trying to make it work, trying to figure it out. And I was like, I see people doing events, I see them like building relationships, but I'm just trying to get through this. I have 911 management, I felt like on a daily basis.
Survival state.
And survival. And I realized looking back, that was actually the biggest mistake I made because I didn't build relationships and I didn't scale my company based on that. Because I was just relying on my own self and I can't be everything to everyone. And so in certain areas of the business, I was miserably failing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the greatest way to scale is to really build authentic relationships, either partnerships, affiliates, going directly to get customers from your product and service. So that's what we hit today.
Well, and I've seen that in you too, and I'm sure you have a lot of success, quote unquote, on the partnerships that you're building, but also, just your company as well with Tax Hive. So share with just the entrepreneurs out there a little bit about the actual business that you're running right now, and then how the entrepreneurs can take advantage of that.
Yeah, so Kevin Olery is the brand in the business. He's an incredible partner of Tax Hive. He films a good hour plus a week for content. He has millions of eyeballs that see his face and his content every week. And so he's been an incredible marketing partner. So we solve the problem for a small business owner. So small business owners, they're underserved. I mean, every entrepreneur wants to solve a problem. Ours was for that small business owner that doesn't get the attention that they need. And so what happens is they try to figure out the tax piece themselves, but they're product people, they're service people, and they don't understand that. There's a great book called Who Not How. And entrepreneurs ask themselves the wrong question: how do I do this and how do I do that? And then they end up becoming like wearing all these hats and they end up failing. So ask yourself, who is that person that can help you on the tax? We feel like Tax Hive is the best solution for that. We're the who. Just turn it over to us. have us help you offset your income. So if you have a certain amount of income you have to pay taxes on, we'll offset it with great deductions. So that's what we do.
Every entrepreneur needs that. And I just once again want to say thank you so much for joining the Founders Odyssey podcast today. Thank you for helping to support the Breakfast Palooza as a community and help that grow into an actual brand. We're actually going to be expanding to Nashville soon, so wanted to let you know about that, and you guys too. So if you know anybody in Nashville. But other than that, thank you, and I can't wait to continue to support you in whatever endeavors that you're doing. So
yeah, it's like after your last Breakfast Palooza, I was like, hey, I congratulate you and commend you for being in the arena. It's a Theodore Roosevelt quote. It's like there's critics in the audience, but you're in the arena.
Yeah.
And when you're in the arena, you're going to be making mistakes, and it's easy to be a critic and say, oh, that could be a mistake, this is a mistake, but you're actually doing it. You're out making it happen. You're going to Nashville now and expanding.
Well, it's funny because that's another part of the podcast we touched on, guys, being in the arena, actually understanding the critics that say certain things, and making what it is you're creating better based on objective feedback. I think many entrepreneurs are so set in their ways as far as what they're going to create and how they're going to create it that they don't actually take a strategic approach to surveys and whatnot, which is another thing that we touched on the podcast. But
continual improvement, right? Hey, your first event, you just go out there and do it. It's like the start is what stops people, right?
Yes.
And so a lot of times they're like, I'm going to do it when this is right or this is right, and it's years down the road and it's never right. And so it's like your first one's probably going to be your worst one. We were just figuring it out on that first one. Well, and then all of a sudden it's grown and you're continually improving the whole process. So
yes, sir.
That's what it's
about. So start. If that's what you got out of this, is start. Number one. Number two, definitely listen to our podcast that we just shot today. It's roughly around 40 minutes. You guys will love it. And also, if you know an entrepreneur who needs what we just talked about now, feel free to share this video and also comment below. So thank you so much once again. We'll talk to you again soon.